Rolling with the homies. Hey y'all, welcome back to Trolling with Gwen Honey, where we're going to talk a little bit about gossip, a little bit about politics, but you already know a whole lot of bullshit. Now wait, let's get into it. You already know we start our show out with current events, so we're going to talk about some stuff that's been happening in mainstream media. Some good things, some bad things. It looks like the baby daddy Pied Piper, well, not Pied Piper, the baby daddy, Mr. Johnny Appleseed himself, Nick Cannon, is losing his show. And I hate to see him go. I was so excited about seeing a black man, doing his little thing, while and that was very successful, honey. But Johnny Appleseed ain't get this one right. But apparently, I think he's doing a radio show in New York, which is big. So congratulations to him. So not only is he making babies, he's still making profits. And, his show may have gotten canceled, but, big ups to Nick Cannon. We appreciate you. Continue to be black excellence. And, don't have no more kids. All right. So next on the chopping block, we want to talk about Tasha K and Cardi B. Well, we all know that Tasha K ended up losing her case against Cardi B, and the judge wants her to pay $4 million. Okay. So everybody's like, okay, yeah. And from my perspective, she absolutely should pay the $4 million, especially with all the things that she said about Cardi B and calling her kid retarded and saying she was having herpes and all this. Honestly, screwed $4 million. She would have had to see me about my kids. Anywho, Tasha K went on a show called The Social Society. Talk about what money? Sis don't want to pay Cardi her coins. She's going to end up losing everything. Do you hear me? She is going to end up losing everything. So I think the process, so word on the street is she's actually trying to hide her money. Not a good idea, baby doll. You're going to get yourself in a little more. Even if you pay Cardi B $100 for the rest of your life, you're at least satisfying the settlement. Now, as far as you being able to purchase anything in your name, kiss that shit goodbye. But anyways, you need to pay that girl her money, and you should be glad that it's all money that you owe her, because honestly, she owes you an ass whooping. So, I like Tasha K. She all right, but she trashed for what she said about Cardi B and her family. So it just seems like, the people in the talk show industry just got a lot of shit going on. Apparently, switching over, Sherri Shepherd. So Sherri Shepherd is now the new host of the Wendy Williams show. If y'all have been following it, you'll know that Wendy Williams herself is now apparently has dementia, or she can't take care of herself. The lymphedema has gotten out of control. She's basically off of the show. So now it's Sherri Shepherd. So Sherri Shepherd did mention that she would invite Wendy Williams on her show. And a lot of people think that's shady, but I don't really think it's shady. Maybe because I'm a little shady, I don't think that that's shady. But I think it would be in good sport for Wendy Williams to be able to even come on the show and tell her side of the story, how they trying to take the girl money, how they trying to say she got dementia, So, I like Wendy Williams' show. Now, I like her show, but with all the shit she's done in the past, karma is a bitch. And that thing is coming in the form of lymphedema.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
Hate to see it. Hate to see it. I just feel like this week, people have really been showing out this week. People have really, really, seriously been showing out. Especially, okay, Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett got 150 days in jail.
He did.
Now, I think it's funny. Jussie Smollett went to jail, but he got more time than niggas who was climbing the Capitol. Now, that's what I'm bothered by. And all he did was tell a hot lie. But
it was hot though.
It was a super hot lie. Now, because he could have called some people their jobs, their pensions, So I don't know. I still think it's something real strange and funny about that whole situation, but I ain't gonna get too far in it because I don't need them coming after me because I'm innocent. I'm just here to share my thoughts. That's it. Jussie, do better. I don't know if nobody's ever gonna give him a job again. I doubt it, but yeah, we'll see. We shall see. There's been a lot of weirdness going on. The other thing that I wanted to tell y'all about, what's her name from Basketball Wives? What's the Royce?
Oh,
Royce. So, okay, y'all. And anybody who knows me knows that I am just really big on advocating for victims of rape and stuff like that. So apparently, Royce has a son. Now, I do applaud her for getting him therapy. Apparently, this boy has been sexually aggressive and, done things. He's had past cases of, I guess, molesting other children. Well, I'm assuming, this is just my thoughts, okay? My thoughts. I had to bring in my New York accent for that one. My thoughts. That as a mother, sometimes you just want to give your children the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's kind of what happened here. She gave her son the benefit of the doubt because he's in therapy, that he's doing good, he wouldn't do it again. So she did not take the proper precautions, and Buddy done went and done did something to somebody else's child. So parents out there, please be mindful of your children. That's why a lot of people don't do sleepovers.
Correct. Because sometimes it's not even the parents you have to worry about. You got kids who've been exposed to stuff.
Thank you.
And they'll do it to your child.
Thank you. And that is a very unfortunate situation. My heart goes out to not only the victims, but also Royce. I hope she's learned her lesson as far as this is concerned, because that could happen to any of us.
Yeah.
So, parents, just make sure you take it. Do what you got to do with your kids. Take proper precautions. And honestly, when I say put nothing past nobody, I mean not even your children. That's sad. Moving on. Putin is still over there blowing shit to smithereens in Ukraine, but they are losing money like nobody's business. I'm talking some of the biggest brands are cutting them off. Louis Vuitton, I want to say Chanel, and lately the latest one was Instagram. Instagram is going to stop streaming over there. Now that's you know what I'm saying, between Facebook and Instagram, that's a whole lot of coinage. I don't think Putin's been getting away with doing shit like this for years.
Yeah, and
years. And now people are like, okay, little bitch, we about to get your ass. And they sticking it to him. I mean, they're putting hot tamales in his asshole and blowing them away. Okay. So yeah, Putin's still over there blowing shit up. Oh, you know what, y'all? Shout out to Abbott's Bridge. So have y'all watched that series, Abbott's Bridge? Abbott's Elementary. Oh Lord, I say Abbott's Bridge. Abbott Elementary, child.
Great show.
Just going to show. Amazing show. And I'm very proud of, what's her name? Why I'm terrible with her name.
We know who you're talking about.
You know her. This young lady right here. Sister, I am so proud of you. I remember She Got Money. She went from She Got Money to producing a whole show. Baby, you. We are proud of you. We are proud of everybody in Abbott's Bridge. But let me just tell you what they're doing.
Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary. What is up with me in the bridge? We used to live down the street. Okay, yeah. So they are doing a free book fair for underprivileged children. Free. Because knowledge is power. And a lot of people say, if you want to hide things from Black people, put it in a book. And something that I've always instilled in my kids, and I tell them, listen, too many people have died, been beaten to death to be able to learn how to read. Oh, my wig. And we're back. Okay? Y'all know this a wig, please. Y'all know this a wig. Come on now. Anywho, the ancestors have done so much for us to know how to read. Like, come on. Like, I make my kids read. You see all these books? Books. They be mad as hell, but they gonna be thankful to their mama that I made them read. So if you guys are in those areas, I don't know if they're accepting book donations, but I might even reach out and donate some books or sponsor some books or whatever. Reading is fundamental in our community. Make sure at least your children are doing some reading. 15-20 minutes a day goes a long ass way. Okay. And we're going to talk about Kevin Samuels later on in the show. And I think a lot of the individuals who call his show don't read. And I'll talk to you about that later because that's all for our current events, honey. Okay, so y'all know when I put on my glasses, we about to get ready and get down to the bullshit. Okay, you ready? Okay. So, on today's episode, we are going to be talking about our community starting to take some accountability as to who we allow to speak into us as a community. Because if we don't, there won't be no black couples. You got all these hotep tards out here talking about the gay agenda. Forget the gay agenda. Us as a people, heterosexual men and women, are not getting along, and we have a few people on social media to blame. Now, before I get into the ups and downs about them, I do want to give a huge shout out to DeVal and Kay Ellis, the Ellises. If y'all watch their Instagram, I love them. Now, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but from what we see on social media, he exudes, what is it? Not alpha male, but he is the head of household in their relationship. And her, as the wife, she plays her role appropriately. I don't know, y'all probably gonna give me some backlash on that, but she does. She does what she's supposed to do in her house. Him as a husband, he protects her, he provides for her, he nurtures her, and he loves her from what we can see on the outside, from what they're showing us, okay? Because we have a lot of men who always talk about what women bring to the table and vice versa. In my honest opinion, they are a perfect example on how a woman should treat her husband and how a man should treat his wife. Shout out to the Ellises. Shout out to how they're raising a generation of young men who they're teaching them how to focus on their emotions. Oh, that episode where he sat his son down and talked to him about, I think he hit his uncle or something. He was like, that's unacceptable. But you could talk to me about your feelings. You can get your feelings out. I mean, the way that he took care of her during her pregnancy, the Ellises, in my opinion, are top tier love vibes, especially black love vibes. Shout out to Bernard Henderson and Sylvandra Henderson. They got like 700 kids and they doing a damn thing. They working, they got businesses, they raising them children. Them children are in sports. Shout out to y'all. Epitome of black love. There's also a black couple on Instagram. Now I don't know their name, but we gonna find it and I'm gonna put it right here. These people right here, they give such sound advice on relationships, especially to women, when to pull out of a relationship, when to stay in a relationship, what to work on. And also, you know who else is okay sometimes? April Mason. I don't know. Do y'all follow April Mason? Okay, so April Mason teaches women femininity.
I know, I sure do.
And honestly, some of her content is really good. Yeah, some of her stuff is really good. The thing that gets me with her is she gets this pygmisha stuff sometimes, where she'll get in the comments of her thing and be like, women, that's why I work with men, because men are, girl, shut up. That's what gets me. Other than that, like her advice to women is amazing. The only reason why I kind of, was hesitant was because, first of all, she gives pick Misha sometimes. And second of all, she's single as a dollar. A pick Misha? Oh, let's put up the definition of a pick Misha. Basically, a pygmisha is a woman who will say or do anything or throw another woman under the bus for the satisfaction or the attention of another man. And they still don't be picking them because she's single. Single as a dollar, loose as change. Now, I don't know if she loose, but that was just a slogan. I said I like a lot of her work. It's just that portion to me. Like, I feel like if you're going to do a work for women, don't throw women under the bus. That's like in a family. If you have a family, we can fight amongst each other, but don't throw your family to the wolves. Anyways, we're going to talk about that in another show. Also, 90s music. 90s music, we talked about love, let's not wait till the water runs dry. You know what I'm saying? We talked about love. And of course, now we got Money Long. I could do this for hours and hours. I appreciate that. But Money Long and 90s music vibes are very few far and in between these days. We talk about cheating and just shitting on men, and men been talking about shitting on women since forever. And I just want us to go back to loving one another. Like, stop the bull between us two. Like, we have to love each other. There is no, we can't fault gay agenda. We can't fault whatever that is. We can't put all the blame on white people when now we have the education to start pulling us all back together.
Why do you think it happens?
Because honestly, because the black family has been pitted against each other, of course, due to some things as far as white supremacy is concerned, I think people are still conditioned to just fight and argue with each other. For example, I believe the reason why Kevin Samuels is so famous is because it is, what can I say? It is popular to talk down and embarrass the black woman.
It's tolerated.
It's not only tolerated, but it's popular. And there just are not enough men out here. And shout out to the black men who are out here doing their thing for black women. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'm literally talking about the scoundrels who make it their business to talk down and terrible about black women. Like, we ain't in the struggle with y'all. And also the black women who talk down on black men. Because in the gist of it, none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. I wanted to stop. Y'all are killing me. And people like Tommy Sotomayor, I'm gonna have to put money on Sis books if she go to jail. So anybody who knows Tommy Sotomayor, he recently got into an argument with a young lady on that Fruity podcast. What is it called? Two Fruit Fresh Special? Tutti Fruity on Rudy? Fresh and Fit.
Tutti Frutti on Rudy.
Anyways, he and a girl got into it, and he was calling all kinds of bitches and hoes, and she was calling him all kinds of bitches and hoes, and they rose up and point of contact. Got him one good time. And now Mouth Almighty Tongue Everlasting is filing charges. Uh-oh, is that my wig again? Okay, so like I was saying, first of all, disclaimer, I missed my hair appointment, so don't judge me, okay? Anyways, Mouth Almighty Tongue Everlasting is now filing charges against the young lady who tagged her head at Fresh and Fit. So, I'm not saying that I don't believe in violence completely, but maybe she should have kept her hands to herself. Anyway, I think people like him are super detrimental to black love. Like, it is absolutely insane at how many people just thrive and indulge in being nasty to black women. It is beyond me. We got to stop it. And I think well, I ain't gonna get into that because okay, I'll get into it. So we talk about a lot of problems in our community, but I believe as black men, as the gatekeepers, maybe y'all didn't keep gate as good as y'all should have. And that's why we have a lot of the problems that we have in our community, like single motherhood. Single motherhood is a huge problem. Not having a two-parent home where both parents can thrive and love and pour into a child is horrible. And both people are actually at fault, mama and daddy. Okay? It's not the woman is more responsible or the man is more responsible, because you have to release a seed. She has to give birth to the seed. Everybody took part in the yes man portion of creating that child, and both people shall take responsibility in creating it. It's not a woman. No. Y'all should have had that conversation. Are we going to take you should have had some plan B. Sister, take this.
Take this, sister.
Take it, sis. Y'all should have that conversation. Are you on birth control? You should have got your vasectomy. I mean, and while we're talking about that, I really think they need to work a little bit faster on this birth control pill for men, because I can't wait to ask somebody if they're on a pill.
Agreed.
Sir, are you on a pill? Did you take a pill this morning? Oh. Okay. Especially since they can create about 10,000 children a year and we can only create 2. We can only have 2 births a year. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that another time. Moving right along. So I want to talk to the demon of Black relationships as it pertains to especially protection of Black women. So before I put all of this blame on him, I want to blame the women. Okay. So this one person I'm talking about is Kevin Samuels, none other than Auntie Kevin Samuels. Okay. I do want to blame the women who go to his show. And I actually watched a lot of his shows, and people said, well, Gwen, if you watch the show, you'll like him. You'll change your perspective. No, I actually hate him more. He is a jerk. He is misogynistic and he's narcissistic. Okay. And tutti frutti, okay? I don't understand how a feminine man can tell a woman to be more feminine. You want us to be like you, honey? So many things. Okay, so I'm going to start from the top. So I'm going to start with the women first. First of all, if you are a woman calling his show for relationship advice, it automatically tells me, number one, you have low self-esteem, and number two, you have no men in your family that love or care about you. Because a lot of the rhetoric as it pertains to Black love and relationships, your mother, your father, your uncles, your brothers, your cousins should have been the ones to teach you that. Very simple. Very simple. Very, like, and then on top of that, a lot of the women that I saw call, I'm not lying to you, a lot of them, they gave short bus vibes.
Because why you called him?
Not only, like, he would ask them questions and he could easily embarrass them.
Yeah, he talk circles around.
Swear to God, listen. One young lady called his show and was like, you're egotistical. And he was like, I'm about to get up. He said, what's the definition of egotistical? Silence was the damn lambs. I couldn't believe it. I said, sister, you don't call this man an egotistical whatever, and you don't even know the definition? Like, ladies, stop calling. If you need that type of advice, I would advise you to consult a dating expert. They will give you everything you need. I mean, this man he's had, what, 2 failed marriages? And you're taking advice from him. The ghetto. First of all, the thing that I don't like is, okay, let me just tell y'all, just from my experience, just because I don't like the way he talks, and he talks to all women that call his show this way, to be honest, but I feel especially that he is worse to women who aren't as good looking.
If they're pretty, he'll play with them a little bit.
And that's the world, to be honest, because if you're beautiful, you're more likely to be more successful. That's just statistics, period. You know, for me, when it comes down to, I think what really made him famous was his rudeness to women. You know, I think that's what really, really, really made him famous. When he farts, his women hating fairy dust, like, ooh, you know, the Samuelites, they snort that shit right out his ass. You know what I mean? The woman hating stuff that he says that men seem to really, really love. Now, I do have to give him some credit. Some of the things that he says are absolutely valid. He had a conversation with a social worker who was slow from Mississippi. Sis really got on Al Gore's internet and said that men are attracted to women's money. Now, of course, there are some men out here who want to be gigolos. I get that. But for the most part, men are very aesthetic creatures. So when he tells you that men are attracted to women because of their looks and not exactly what they have, that's very true. Unlike women, you know, we, of course, vet men, of course, for security and financial X, Y, and Z. Anyways, he kept trying to tell her. And she was like, no, I don't believe that. And he was like, where are you from? She was like, Mississippi. I almost died, y'all. I almost died. Now I ain't gonna lie, that was funny, and he ain't shit for that. You know, he makes very valid points about, in my honest opinion, he makes valid points about why would you stay with a man if your goal is marriage. Why be with them for 10 and 20 years and 15 years and then get upset? You're the one who stayed. My thing is, if you've just had a baby and your baby is under 4 years old, just my personal opinion, especially because that baby can't really talk, I think you can date, but I don't think it should be your whole goal, because having a small child is a lot of work. It's a lot of work for a mother. I had 2 children in daycare. It was the ghetto. Okay. And me and my ex-husband actually have a good relationship, but even with him being there, having 2 small kids was still difficult. So I think if you have small kids, he immediately shakes his head. One girl came on there with a 1-year-old baby in the background, just, stop calling him. What is wrong with y'all?
He'll tell you that nobody wants you.
Exactly. And the other thing is, it's like, he'll always, you can come on and you can be the sweetest person. Like, I saw him talk to a young girl. She was like 20. And he was like, oh, what's with your attitude? Do you talk to your father that way? The little girl didn't even have an attitude. So the other thing that got me with him was, he's very quick to tell somebody, oh, you're not wife material, right? He tells almost every single woman who calls that show they're not wife material. Okay, pause that for just a second. His mama wasn't a wife, and he couldn't keep 2 of them. How does he really know what wife material is? Right? So the young lady, she was 20 years old, and I have to agree with, she's a young lady from Howard University. She said, well, can you tell me what a wife is supposed to be for her man? He was like, oh no, honey, that's what your mother was supposed to teach you. Just shaking his little titties, That's what your mother should have taught you that. I'm like, well, bitch, I'm on the line with you. How come you can't tell me? As far as the little girl. And he just kept saying, that's something your mother should have taught you. Like, but you don't know, but you're telling women they're not wives. That didn't make sense to me. So in my opinion, the way he answered that young lady, it just really showed his narcissism, in my honest opinion. Instead of him saying, I don't really know, or just telling her, what do you think? What is a wife supposed to do for her man? In my honest opinion, some of the things that I think a wife should do, and a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but if I'm someone's wife, I'm going to make sure I keep up with my body. I'm going to make sure my hair is done. I'm going to make sure I bring about that lingerie every now and then. I'm going to make sure I listen to him when he needs something. I'm going to be his support system. I'm going to fuck a bitch up if they try my man, even though he's my man. He is the one who's going to check bitches for me, right? The support system. But he couldn't even tell her that little bit of stuff, And so I agree that men don't really care about what you have or your finances and blah, blah, but I agree with that. But I think that also should change, because inflation, number one, and marriage is supposed to be about building wealth. How are you going to do that? If both people are able to do 2 incomes, let them. Let the husband pay the bills, the wife does whatever else, and the investment stuff, and y'all have investment properties. You utilize both of your incomes to, I know couples, the husband is in construction and the wife is a real estate agent. He builds the house, she sells them. Coins on coins. I think that if men really have a problem with doing things like going 50-50, then the whole thing should evolutionize. If you want women to be old school, be an old school provider. Mm-hmm. Period. Poo. Okay? It is just amazing to me that this man is looked upon for advice. Why, y'all? Even men. Like, to me, in my personal opinion, especially for those men who are so gung-ho about gay stuff and D-Wade, and they mad about all this gay stuff that's going on. I mean, I don't know if he's really gay, but he gives me Tutti Frutti on Rudy. Okay. Ooh. That fairy dust part. And I just really don't like it. I don't care. Oh, you know what they're going to say, but it's fine. They're going to eat you alive. It is fine because it is very valid. My thing, so another thing is, I look at couples like Sierra. I look at, of course, D-Wade. They're not perfect couples. One of my favorite couples is Savannah and LeBron James.
Me
I love them. And Savannah fine as hell.
Listen,
honey.
All outside.
Girl, I don't like girls, but I almost did. Savannah fine. I ain't gonna lie on Savannah. Savannah fine. And I love them because she's supportive of her man. And the thing about Savannah is she's not really in the limelight like that. She's really not. She's really not in the limelight like that.
At all.
But when y'all come for her man, she'd be like, oh, where? Washed up, where? Yeah. Because y'all not finna come. Y'all not finna. Y'all.
Second best player in NBA history.
Exactly. I'm going to put them aside real quick. Let me pick up Sierra and Russell. A lot of men hate him. Why? They're like, oh, he's a simp. He's this. How are you a simp for your wife?
Right. That you married.
That you, yeah. Like men really be mad at men for being good and nice to their women. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, like, what happened?
Most niggas is gay.
We live in a world where treating a woman bad is praised and treating a woman good is looked down and frowned upon. Who raised you? And most men who have issues or talk about women who are single mothers or talk about women who are single, got their mama last name. We got to do better. I know y'all going to eat me up. I don't care. But we're going to do better about loving one another. And I think one of the ways is stop listening to Kevin Samuels. Not even stop listening, because I think sometimes he provides very sound advice, right? But I think as his followers, a lot of his followers should shut him down on the way he talks to women. Like, would you want someone to talk to your daughter that way? Would you want someone to speak to your sister that way? I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to fight about mine.
But you have a lot of men whose egos have been bruised by women.
That's true.
And other things, and so they like that he could get a woman together like that. You have a lot of men in the world who feel like they can't compete in that arena with women, and so he's the first man that's able to chop us down and put you back in your place. So
now,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, for those men, I suggest therapy.
Right.
And honestly, on behalf of the men who have been hurt intentionally by women, I apologize on their behalf for you if that is going to provide any kind of consolation for how you're feeling. Because I think that's another thing. A lot of men, especially Black men, do not know how to express their feelings. That is detrimental.
From my conversations with a lot of men, they don't feel like women take responsibility for their actions either. They say women don't apologize for nothing.
Fine.
That kind of thing.
Vet better. Vet better. Because a real woman gonna apologize when she wrong.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Shit.
She a real woman. She ain't apologize for shit.
My cousin, you don't be saying sorry?
What?
Oh, I believe her though. My cousin don't be wrong. God damn it. So with that being said, I do love y'all. I want us as a community to get back to Black love. I want us to get back to 90s R&B. I want us to get back to having families. We got to that's the only way we're going to get money. I always talk about it all the time. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect. If Black families don't have no money, how the fuck we going to get it? Anyways, I think I done talked enough. I know y'all tired of me. I know y'all mad at me. I don't give a fuck. Thank you for tuning in to Trolling with Gwen. Rolling with the homies.